This homestead would not be what it is today without the people that's on it. Now, I know a lot of my videos that I do, it's just I take you guys with me in the camera and I do a hive inspection or I do some work around the garden, but there's a lot that's happening behind the scenes, and I'm going to tell you about it. So come on. Since the wind's starting to blow, I figured I would take you guys into our high tunnel greenhouse and tell you just a little bit more about the story of the honeystead. I know that 99% of the time when I'm doing my videos, it's strictly me. But the reality of it is there's a whole family behind the honeystead and everything that has happened here on our farm and the entire story. When we purchased this farm, it had nothing other than the house and the pasture. There were no fences, there were no structures, there was no garden. My husband and I wanted to be more in control of how we were living our life and what we were doing, and we decided that having a homestead was the best decision for us. It was the best decision for my family and for my kids and for our marriage. Now, my husband's not in a lot of our videos, and that is totally okay. And I've shared from the beginning that this is my thing. You know, this is something that I have that keeps me kind of going. By me being able to do YouTube and tell our story, it also feeds that artistic side of myself and the creativity and how I see things. And I want others to see life the way I see it. It's beautiful, it's raw, it's real. But today I wanted to kind of talk about the people that made this farm. They are very near and dear to my heart. And since you guys mainly get to see life from my perspective, I want to tell you about my family. My husband is one of the hardest working men I've ever met in my life. And I know that every dream or vision or thing that I've ever truly had, a thought, an idea, he has helped make it possible. The many plans that I have and the many plans that I continue to dream up, he's helped take a vision and put it into real life. He has made it. And I couldn't be more thankful. You know, we are getting ready to celebrate 15 years of marriage, and that's huge. On top of being married for 15 years, we were just young, dumb kids wondering if it was going to work, you know? I have a lot of people that ask me how we do this. You know, how do we work so hard when it's so easy to just go to the store and purchase your own food? And I shared in one of my very first videos, don't ask me how, ask me why. I feel that if you stop and look at why we're doing this versus how we're doing it, you'll see that anything is possible. You'll see that the why is so much greater than the how. You know, if you have a dream and if you have a vision and if you have the ability to start even on the smallest scale, I've always shared with you guys that it is so worth it. And this life of having that sustainability, of having that comfort, that of having that work ethic, of having just the knowledge of the art of survival, you know, having that is so worth it in the end. Yes, there are long days. Yes, there are days on the farm that happen that shake you and make you question what you're doing, but I'm gonna repeat myself and I apologize for this, but I've had such a huge growth of subscribers recently, and I feel like it's important. I feel like this is important to share with you guys, but there are days on the farm that happen that you are just brought to your knees. But I've always shared with you guys that sometimes those bad days are supposed to happen because it's going to make you just appreciate the good days just a little bit more. And that is what we live by. You know, that is what continues. Each day on this farm is a blessing. And if you are able to stop and find one thing that is beautiful in your life, you don't have to have a farm to find something that is beautiful. And if you allow yourself to express gratitude for what is beautiful, then you're living your best life. You know, this is just what we are doing. And I've enjoyed sharing it with you guys. Many of my viewers have been with me since day one, and you guys have seen my children grow right before your eyes. I actually looked back at a few videos over this last year, and I'm even blown away with how much my son and my daughter have grown. And I hope that one day they get to look back and watch some of these videos and remember all the good times and some of the bad times. But without YouTube, I know they're going to look back at their childhood and completely just reminisce on all the stories. And there are so many stories that my kids are going to remember, helping me build the raised beds, helping us build the fencing, helping us plant seeds for the garden. My kids are going to remember so much about this farm when they get old. But so will I. Right over there, connected to our other pasture, is a water spigot that my husband and my dad ran an entire water spigot all the way down to each pasture so that our livestock can have fresh water every day. We actually secured the water spigot with concrete, and if you look closely, you'll see both of my children's handprints in there. That was probably about 4 years ago that happened. Their hands have grown so much bigger since then, but it is still a memory. And what I see here when I go for a walk in the evenings with my husband, that's our date night. A lot of our date nights consist of us going on a walk or going down and sitting by the creek and just having a few moments to ourselves and just reminiscing and treasure mapping. You know, we dream and talk about all the possibilities and everything that we might want to do in our future. That's how we go on dates when it comes to living on a farm. And now what's even cooler is my parents. My parents are getting ready to start planning their homestead, and they're able to actually live this life with us and see what it takes. You know, my dad and I helped build this high tunnel. You know, this whole greenhouse we put up. My husband ran the electric and put in beautiful twinkly lights so I can come up here and sit and make this be my place of just, it's my place. I recently shared a video of the fencing that we are doing between my husband, my dad, and my son, milling each board that we can take, and we have now put it into fencing that's going to surround this whole garden plot. There is a story behind that wood, and it's a very precious one. You know, I know that I might be a little bit romantic and sentimental on certain items, but you have to understand that all goes into the ask me why, not ask me how of this lifestyle. A lot of the trees that we have milled for this garden fencing in particular came from my parents' property. And that's hard in a way. That's my childhood. You know, that is where I grew up. Those were the trees that I used to play hide and go seek around with my sister, learning how to forage for pawpaw fruit and finding ginseng and roaming that mountain like it was my playground. That's how I grew up. I was just a very outdoorsy type of kid, which I'm thankful for. I'm very thankful for that. But each board now holds memory. And we were able to bring that wood from my parents' property, from my childhood, and now have it be used here. Those are the stories that I want to continue to share. That is what I want my grandchildren to be able to remember. I want my grandchildren to be able to climb the fence and have that, you know, have that memory. I feel like this farm is so much more than a farm. And I definitely think this last year answered a lot of questions for me. You know, this place definitely healed me. If you are a new viewer or you've been here for a little while, I just can't wait to share what this year is going to be. We've got a lot of things happening between the bees and the gardening and the livestock and the woodworking and just seeing what we're doing here on the Honeystead. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something old.